It's time to celebrate the comedic brilliance of our beloved characters. From the enigmatic Sid Kagano, whose exaggerated delusions in the Eminence and Shadow series never failed to tickle our funny bones, to the charming and resourceful Anya Forja from Spy Family, whose quick wit and hilarious predicaments keep us eagerly anticipating each episode. These characters embody the essence of comedy in anime, each bringing their own unique flair and humor to the screen. So let's raise a toast. Here are your nominees for Best Comedic Character of 2023.
いたいた。高松さん。いた。
それでは小テスト。My love. 筋肉要塞がするよ。どんな歩き方しろ。クレア人をことごとくするんだ。写真撮っていい？あれ暗いな。あれ夜だからそんなことしても意味なんかないよ。言ったじゃない。
ちょっと突き指しちゃいます。
攻撃力も低いし、生命力が強くてしぶといだけで丸飲みにされないようにすれば。
So the jury winner is Anon Chihaya from Bang Dream, It's My Go. And the public winner is Sid Kagano from The Eminence in Shadow.
So before the stream started, you were telling me you were really rooting for a character. Did that character win?
No, it was Rentaro from 100 Girlfriends.
Why exactly? What's the appeal of Rentaro?
Well, the entire show is really friggin' insane. And it's like a harem comedy, but taken to like ridiculous lengths. And I think that that level of excess and just the fact that he is so incredibly earnest throughout it all, I think it really ties all of the comedy in that show together.
Oh, he's the he. He's not a girlfriend.
No. One non-girlfriend. I am happy to see Sid win though, because I feel like he really struck a chord with like anime fans just by being completely serious, but also but because he's so serious, he just he gets to what is really funny about Chunibyo characters in a way that's just like we've seen this trope before, but he just takes it to a new level because there's actually a lot of fantasy, dark fantasy stuff happening around him. He's actually kind of oblivious to it, but he thinks that he's got control over it. It's just a really funny way of doing that trope.
But is he unintentionally funny? He doesn't mean to be funny, but it just the way that he is ends up being.
Yeah. That's him in a nutshell. He's never trying to be funny. He just is.
That's great. I mean, I think it takes a lot of skill in order to write a character like that expertly.
Yeah, totally. Oh, and then there's Chihaya that won the jury award. I actually have a problem with how she won because personally I don't think that the show is very comedic in general. It's very dramatic. It's mostly a drama. I think Enon's one joke is that she wanted to be special, but she's just kind of overshadowed by everybody else.
She's Reina from Hibike.
Yeah, she kind of is. It's slightly more lighthearted, her character, but most of the characters of that show have really emotional hang-ups, including her, and they have a cry about it every couple of episodes or so. For me, it didn't really strike me as a very funny show, but I'm interested in hearing what the jury has to say about it.
Well, personally, at least for me, I really have a soft spot for the type of character analyst that you described. Is she's essentially just an arrogant loser, and I love those characters so much. They try. So the start of Mago is her trying to assemble the band with the explicit purpose of raising her own status in just as a popular girl, but she has no real attachment, and then we see how it all blows in her face. And like you're right, the show is definitely more dramatic, but the jury was still in agreement that the comedic scenes were a highlight of the year. And like in here in the awards, we don't discriminate between genre tags. For example, Sid is also from rather a show heavy on adventure and action, and I would actually argue that it's not that comedic either. But I can also appreciate his comedic moments. So that's why nothing in almost no character is out of the table either.
Oh, I'm saying here it's really funny that like Sid's right at the bottom of your of the jury vote, but he's right at the top of the public. That's like a real split.
Yeah, like you say, I can see why some people would like it. I feel that if I honestly were younger, I would definitely like him more. But I don't know. He just doesn't. There are some moments that does hit. Like I remember when he first talks to Alpha when he is a kid, and like he like makes up his hair and like tries to pose in a box just to look cool before starting to speak. Like yeah, he has silly moments like that, but I think the show is just too serious. Like it takes itself too seriously way too often, more than it tries to be consciously comedic with him. So that's why I feel it misses the mark for a lot of us in the jury.
Okay, fair enough. Like he wasn't my top pick, but I could definitely see why like the audience found him funny.
Yeah.
When we were speaking with Callum earlier, he like almost warned us, or he didn't warn us. He was like, "Oh man, Bang Dream Mygo! I can't believe we had to watch that stuff." And we were like really anticipating you coming on and being like, "Anon Chihaya, what is this?"
I'm trying to be
but
nice. I was thinking, okay, part of me was thinking, damn, you guys suck at the jury. Why'd you guys pick a whole bunch of shows that weren't even that funny?
well, you know that's just how it goes. Collapse. Can you go into a little bit of how you went about evaluating these characters?
Like I said previously, we don't discriminate between genres, and also because we try to analyze both shows and characters, in this case characters for this category, more holistically. So even if they are in a dramatic show or have a more dramatic role in the story, we don't consider it a downgrade or la- well, the main thing to get across is that we don't just take in account which one is the funniest. We want to discuss like if they are the funniest to see, is it funny enough to not need enough character depth? Like if you get me, essentially we discuss, okay, this character, you say it's funny, he doesn't have any dramatic arcs or anything, so can you explain why it doesn't need such things to stand out from the rest of the characters that we have here?
So almost like evaluating the role that they play within the show, and then how well they are executing that role.
Yes. For example, we also have Jun Jun from the Konosuba spin-off, pretty
Mhm.
high, despite her not being the central character and being she doesn't have any exploration. It is a spin-off is all about Megumin, but we went with Jun Jun because we like how she her how her character interacts with Megumin, what she brings to the humor of the spin-off, and in general we just like her general archetype of character, that she's just a really nice lovable girl.
On the topic of like characters like being evaluated in terms of the role they play within the story, I was actually found it interesting that Kana was voted as like into the dramatic character category. Although I personally felt that she was more of a comic relief character within the context of the show, and she would have been a great fit for a comedic character as well.
We actually thought the same. We actually did discuss Kana, but we were told that if the public nominated Kana for dramatic character, it would stay there. And
Okay, so there can't be a character being in both categories.
yeah, it can't.
Which
Ah,
you know
okay.
that might be something to look at for the future. But you know, in general, for the awards, we try to err on the side of celebrating more variety of characters than not, if possible. which is why shows are only eligible for one genre and so on and so forth.
Okay, so on that note, like it's interesting that like two different characters from Skip and Loafer ended up in like the dramatic and the comedic categories. So Sosuke is in the dramatic category, but Mitsumi is in the comedic category.
I was just about to ask about Mitsumi, just because it's a little curious. I mean, Skip and Loafer is a phenomenal show. I kind of considered it a jury darling coming into like after its season was over. But what did you think of Mitsumi, and why do you think she's where she is, Frog-kun?
Okay, for someone like me, she's so hashtag relatable because like I was
Yeah.
like a super overachieving nerd in high school as well. And like Sosuke is like a great foil for her because he's like really laid back in a way that at first you go, oh, he's kind of mellowing her out, but then you see he's got his like hang-ups too, and they actually they really complement each other very well.
Collapse, what were you thinking when you were talking about Mitsumi?
Mitsumi is indeed a very pleasant character to watch. I don't have any strong contradictions to her, and the same goes for the rest of the year. We're like, yeah, Mitsumi is a real enjoyable character to watch. She has like she's generally fun. She has a nice little arc throughout the story that is about how learning to let go of her control freakness. That we know she arrives to Tokyo with this whole plan of life, but she learns to be more laid back and enjoy more of the city life.
But in a way, I almost feel like it plays it a little too safe, which is maybe why
Yeah,
she doesn't.
this is why she wasn't at top rank. Like everyone had it in like upper mid rankings, but no one had it as favorite. It's like, yeah, she's good, but like, yeah, she's good. Like no one could really go hard on her to say, oh, Mitsumi's one of the best. Like everyone just came in agreement. Yeah, she's good, but I like this one better. A bit of a jack of all trades, master of none in the jury.
Well, fair enough. She's like funny, but not laugh out loud funny.
Yeah, I think that's a good description. But I think we're reaching time, so I just want to thank both of you for joining me, and it's always great to speak with you every year.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Same. Thanks for having me here.
All right, on to the next category.